How to be a good volunteer from a supervisor's perspective. First, I want to just get it out of the way. At this day and age, no one really should have to volunteer. If you're doing work, probably should get paid. There's value created. However, that's not the topic of today. I'm not going to talk about the politics and the issues surrounding volunteering as a whole. Assuming it's a market demand. If you're volunteering, probably because if you don't, there are plenty of others who are willing to take this volunteer opportunity. And anyway, so let's assume you've decided to volunteer and you've got a volunteer opportunity. Then I would say a couple points about how to be the best volunteer you can be. So assuming you're doing this because you want to improve yourself, you want to learn, you want this as a training opportunity, you want to showcase your skills so that when you go out and apply for jobs later, you have that, whether it's jobs or med school, whatever you're applying to later, you have something to show for it and to show you've had some real world experience and you can solve some real problems. So don't treat anything handed to you by the volunteer supervisor as tasks. It's merely guidance. You don't have to do anything they tell you to do if you don't want to. It's a volunteering thing, and ultimately, what do you want to come out as? You want to show that you are a independent thinker, that you can not only do what you're told, but recognize problems, find solutions. So recognize problems is one thing. I've seen lots of people come up and say, hey, it almost sounds like a complaint. It's like, hey, this doesn't work. I can't get this REB through. I can't get hold of this person. I can't reach that particular famous doctor. I can't get this task down in this time. Yep, so that's good first step. You recognize the problem, but hopefully you recognize the problem before the deadline, like way before. Like you're preemptively thinking about what kind of problems you might encounter and thinking about the end goal of the project, rather than when it's due for submission and you're like, I need some help getting this solved. Anyway, so recognize the problem is first step, and then the next step is find your own solutions. Go do your research, go online, look at how it's done before, ask questions. Ask questions is totally okay. That's the whole learning process in the volunteering. So don't be shy to just reach out and ask. And if you're asking questions to help solve a problem, your supervisor or manager is only going to be happy about it because you're solving their problem. And so ideally, someone recognize the problem, find the solution, present the solutions or options to their superior, and they merely have to say yes or no. And that's the best kind of volunteer. So I'm going to give you a more concrete example. So we've asked this student to draft up a research ethics application, REB application. It's a lengthy document, but we've provided previous applications as a reference that she can, it's not copy and paste, but at least you can see what was written before. So that's going to really help with writing and drafting this time. And I think we gave about 2 months to do it. And a month and a half had passed. It hasn't been done yet. And she sent emails, she has exams and all the other things. Totally fine. But what would a perfect volunteer do? Like, what if you want to be kickass and the best out there and really shine? Completing the draft is one thing. That's what you've been asked to do. And think of that as, again, guidance. You don't know what to do in this project, so I tell you the next step is to draft the REB. But think about the next steps for the projects. How are we going to collect data? Who's analyzing it? Is the project worthwhile? Is it even sound science? And ultimately, how it's going to be reported and how does it contribute to the field? And if you thought through all these and think about the next steps, I would say I would see if a volunteer not only finished the REP draft, but also went out and did some literature search. I mean, that's what most volunteers are good at. They know how to Google, they know how to search. And so use that to your advantage. It's the skills you already have. And so is the particular treatment we're studying being studied before? Is the way we're measuring being done before? Are we just repeating someone else's work, or is this new ground? If it's new ground, has others done this to a smaller scale and we are doing a bigger scale? And those are all questions you can find out in a lit search. And so come back not only with, hey, I've done my REB draft, but also you didn't ask me to do a lit search, but I did anyway just for my interest. And I found out, this hasn't been done before. So great, confirmed. This project's worthwhile, and I feel good that I'm involved in some new work. That I think is what a great volunteer would do. That's where you really shine, and that's something you can be proud of on your resume.